anyone that watches this, including myself, and it's coming back to the question that I asked you the other day and I asked Ashton, when you don't have the support in this sport, what is the best route to take? And by support, what I mean is, you know, we're paying our own money. The money that we
Hmm.
work for, or whatever allocations we're putting towards this sport, we are doing it out of our own pockets. And not everyone's going to agree with that. Um, I think that there's in life a lot of people are going to tell you what to do, tell you how to spend it, while their lives could also be a mess, right? So one of the things that I've continuously ran into as an older student and an adult, is finding the actual support that makes you feel comfortable in pursuing your dream. So that's the question I have is for you is just like the other days, and just like I asked Ashton, what do you do when you don't have the support in this sport? What do you do?
Yeah. I'm a big proponent of like making your dreams happen. Like you just I don't know. A great example was going to Belarus for my first junior world championship. I was in the middle of college, um, you know, college classes, college expenses. I was waiting tables on the weekends to make ends meet as far as like college expenses go. And Belarus, I pay my way. It's not a cheap flight to Belarus by any stretch. And, getting hotel accommodations and flight and all of that as a college student. But I never gave it a second thought because I knew my purpose. Like,
Mm,
I was like, this is what I want to do, you know? And if you know this, right, where you want to go, the route to get there is any way possible. So,
mm,
you pick up more shifts at the restaurant on the weekends. A lot of people might want to go out in college on a Friday night or a Saturday night. Well, I was like, forget that. I'll work another shift at the restaurant and save up more money for my trip. Now, that's kind of like a microcosm because I understand it's not as easy as like work another shift at the restaurant. It's
sure.
also the like mental connection with what you want to do, and like your goal is something so much bigger, and you just have to understand that some people, and this is where like the personal support comes in, not just the financial. uh
Excuse me.
I had people in my life who didn't see the vision, you know um and I've been very fortunate. My parents have always been so supportive of me because they kind of saw what I really cared about. I was passionate about this thing, and they supported me as far as like, hey, you go do it. Um, but I've had relationships, whether it be friends or romantic relationships, where you know they basically just said, hey, you're going to have to make concessions and like prioritize differently, or I'm out. And I would say, or I'm out, I guess. Because I cared so much, right? Like I was like, this is my end goal, right? And anyone who wasn't with me was in the way of the goal.
Mm,
And it sounds kind of cutthroat, and I'll be honest, it's because it is. And back to the money, to me, of course, like I'm big. I have hobbies too. I love, actually, of all things, I love valuing businesses and like uh stock picking and weird stuff like that, and like
yeah.
investments. So I have like this connection with money because I like that stuff. But to me, uh, and saving for retirement's important for me, the future. But if I die with tons of money in the bank, like what's it all worth? I would rather spend some money to invest in my experiences. Like I probably paid, I don't know, Belarus was probably like a few grand, something like that to make that trip happen, you know. I would have paid, like looking back, that experience, if I paid $3,000, it's worth $30,000 to me. Like
Wow.
to remember that trip and the people I met and the experiences that happened from that trip. And like, who gets to say, I went and competed in Belarus, and everyone's like, "Where's Belarus?" And I'm like, "It's an old Soviet Union country. It's crazy, you know." And all of that is worth 10 times the amount of money that I spent. But not knowing that, someone on the outside looking in would say, "Oh, $3,000 is a ton of money to spend." And I agree, it's a lot of money, but it was worth it to me. So bringing it back down to like dropping money on your first competition. You know, anyone who's brand new, you have to get a singlet, you have to get, you know, membership fees, the meat fee, all of that. Think of it like you're investing this money in your future self, you know, because you cannot, if your goal is to compete internationally, you can't get international without doing a local meet first. And then you can't compete internationally without doing a national meet first. So all of this money you're putting down up front is an investment to get to where your end goal is. And that'll pay off in the memories and the people that you meet. You know, so that's where
Wow.
I sit, and I have no regrets whatsoever. Like I could have saved so much more money, sure, right? But everything that's in here from that money spent is worth way more to me.
Man, I